Hello and welcome to the painting commentary track for the D&D Collectors Series Zariel, episode 9 of Paint to Life. So we're starting with ABADDON Black. ABADDON Black. I primed her with Chaos Black, as well as a Zenithal primer with a hit of Corax White on top. That gives her this gray look, and now I'm just painting it all away. It's there to help you find all those details. But I dislike the way this mini is represented on the box. I really do. I think it looks sort of chick. I don't know. She doesn't look very pretty for what that's worth. I think she looks kind of weird. I think an angel / devil should be beautiful. I think the sculpt isn't ugly, but the way that they did it at Gale Force 9, I'll put a picture right here. No thanks. In fact, you know what? I'll probably mention this in the video as well. But regardless, I love the cover art of Descent into Avernus, so why can't they have designed her to look like they did in her actual book? I don't know. So here we are. I said I'm going to paint her that way. So I'm going to take inspiration from the cover of the book to paint her. Now, a tip for you guys. I assembled her and I glued her wings on, which wasn't the end of the world, but it did kind of impede my painting later on. But you can see her left arm is not attached. I wasn't that stupid. So I've used so far black on the wings, I've used a KHORNE red for the halo as a base, and I'm using Iron Warriors for her armor. Okay, so Iron Warriors, make sure you take your time, water down, thin your paints, especially when you're using these hard plastic minis. You don't want globbies in there to fill up the details. Going down her sleeve, beautiful. That hammer, sick. I know, no spoilers, but it's just cool. Alright, so you can see how if she didn't have her wings there, I'd be able to get full 360-degree rotation without having to worry about the wings. So next time I would not have, if I did it again, I wouldn't have glued them on until the very end. Steel Legion DRAB, this is the color I chose for her quote-unquote leathers. I didn't want it all to be metal. And sometimes in fiery ones I'll do singe effects on the bottom. I didn't in this case. So Steel Legion DRAB. Again, take your time to make sure you're painting the right thing. This is a little tricky in the crotch region here. Well, see, I went a little low there. I'm like, I think I'm into the other, like the bottom, the undercoat, if you will. There's also a swirl detail that I painted over here that I'm eventually going to come back and fix. But again, there's some cool chains in there, which don't worry if you clip them now, but do your best to not. That way you don't miss them later. Okay? ABADDON Black again for her hammer. This black on black on black. Alright, there's some nice details on those. That hammer we're going to outline later with STORMHOST silver. Okay, so what else do we have here, Mike? Let's see. It looks like, I think we're doing the skin next. The survey says, nope, you dumbass. RUNEBLADE brown. Okay, this is the undercarriage. You know, would be like cloth or tunic. If you were a human wearing armor, you'd have like cloth underneath it. Again, I wanted that leather look on the top, and then this is more of a cloth look on the bottom, even though I'm sure it's neither. But you can see it's two-tone, and ultimately I'm going to hit this with some contrast washes later, because obviously, well, I don't know, obvious is the word. You don't see her there on the book, but Deepkin Flesh, moving on to her skin tone. To finish my last thought, you don't really see her waist down in the book art, so I kind of just went with what I liked. This Deepkin Flesh, I got it from a friend, and I think it's really old because the paint is very. I like the color; it looks very vampiric, but I think it's an older paint. I couldn't find the color code when I was doing my video for it. Maybe it's discontinued. So make sure if you have a paint that goes on really thin, so that you can see through it, make sure you just apply it gently and do multiple coats. I think I did 3 coats of the Deepkin Flesh, but not too heavy because you don't want to clog up her eyes and ears and nose and stuff. And those chicken feet, does the chicken have large talons? Half of you don't even know what that's from. Maybe more than half. I don't know, I think you do. It's Napoleon Dynamite. So there are her large talons. WARPLOCK Bronze, it's a favorite go-to metal of mine. It looks very warp-locked. Also from the Citadel line. It's got a bronze look, a little bit of darkness to it. Hit these chains, try not to hit your leathers. If you do, again, you can touch it up. Not the end of the world. Have fun with it. Look at this weird bulk chain. Look at how big that chain is down there. I think they were just trying to hide the feet. They didn't know what to do with them, so they put these huge chunky chains beside them. It's not, you know, be honest, it's not my favorite sculpt in the world, but she's a cool villain. She deserves her own. Here we go. We're gonna hit these eye sockets with some gray. And might the gray, just use a gray. You don't want to use black. You want to darken it up. Whoops. With some gray so that you can hit it with black next. Now, time to do the wings. KHORNE red again, this time a dry brush effect. You see my dry brushing? I just wipe it off on this paper towel, gently brush against the grain of the feathers, not with it. You don't want it to fill up those holes. You want to keep the black. Again, let's look at our source material, the front cover of Descent into Avernus. She's got these black wings that are like all singed at the edge in red. Now, KHORNE red dries really dark. See, it's really beautiful there, but you'll come back to it and see it's dried almost like black. Not quite black, but it looks like burgundy. Even the front of that wing that I started with, see how it's almost all that brilliant red you see in this fresh paint is all gone. So we're using 3 coats of red, starting with KHORNE. I can see I'm going blind. MEPHISTON red next, also with a dry brush. I sloppied that one up a bit. There's a couple blumps, but that's not to worry. The reason they're there is because her arm is going to cover that when I paint her and glue her arm on there. So there's a couple flat spots there. That's why the dry brushing hit. So again, for this one, MEPHISTON, I don't want to go, I'm just keeping it mostly to the top. I don't want to go over my KHORNE red and make the whole thing pointless. There should be some spots that the KHORNE red still comes through, and the MEPHISTON near the top and on the edge should be standing out. Hit her with some pupils of yellow. Evil Sun Scarlet. This is my final red on the wings, and I'm not dry brushing. I'm applying individual little feathers just on the edge. Alright, and that's a boring process to watch, so I skipped it. NULN oil. Apply your magic NULN oil to that Iron Warrior's armor just to fill in all those creases and make it look a little bit more demonic, I suppose, or devilish. But not everywhere else. I didn't want to apply. Okay, what was that? That was more NULN oil. Now we're doing STORMHOST silver on the hammer. Little brush, gently. You guess some people would dry brush this. I'm not the greatest painter, you guys know this, but take your time. Try and get that black to stay like I got there. Like I'm really happy with that side, you know. And here's this other one, and a little too heavy-handed maybe. Nah, I don't know. There's all kinds of details. Just do the top. And then the other side. Take your time. Okay, YRIEL yellow to do the flame wreath. So if you have different colors, you can add multiple reds. You can see I also threw an orange in there. It looks like one of my oranges from my base is like a TROLLSLAYER orange, just to make a fire effect. Start with red, then you go up. Some STORMHOST silver dry brushing on that WARPLOCK bronze for that particular chain. I didn't want that chain to be bronzy. I wanted that chain to look like steel. Okay, KHORNE red. Now this, remember how we saw earlier how it dries so dark? In the book, you can see she's got like red creeping through her armor. Now it looks intense right there, doesn't it? What are you doing, Mike? You're wrecking your armor. Yeah, shut up. It's going to dry really dark and kind of give that subtle effect I was looking for. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you to shut up. You probably weren't saying that anyways. In fact, I don't even know if you're watching. I'm probably just talking to myself. Black TEMPLAR, contrast paint. So all that leather that I did, now I'm throwing black on it. What the hell, you say? Well, I'll tell you. It does dry. Okay, Indian yellow. That's what I do for the bottom of the skirt. It's not shown in the video, by the way. Also another contrast paint. It does dry black, but it also dries semi-transparent. So the fact that I had that brown under there is useful. So big chunk of bark from outside. There it is, right? Some gravel from outside, glue it onto this base, and then prime it with Chaos Black. And what you're left with is this big bark that looks like a rock with a couple actual rocks. Glue it all on there with tasty white glue. Use this, prime that bad boy, RYZA Rust dry brushing for my lava rock. There it is. Alright, what next, bro? Next we're going to use some Evil Sun Scarlet. Wrap around the rocks. Remember, lava goes from black to deep red to orange to yellow to white. So around the mass where it would be the coolest, it's going to be red. Then we use some Fire Dragon Bright. I bring that out to the edge. But try not to touch your Evil Sun Scarlet too much because you want to keep it red near the rock. And this is all happening while all this paint is wet, and it's very wet. You can see it splashing because you want to wet blend all these colors. Alright, now I'm up to my next orange, which is I think TROLLSLAYER orange. Okay, I'm just pushing it just like a Bob Ross. Let it be wet. Wet. Happy accidents. Make it wet. Push it in there. There you go. You can see how it's blending nicely. It's nice and sloppy. The red, the orange. There's the TROLLSLAYER. Okay, so that wasn't TROLLSLAYER orange. Oh, whatever it was. Just use your own orange. See? Nice. TROLLSLAYER orange. Push it. Push it towards the red, but don't push too hard. This is satisfying. I'm going to show this to my kids. Kids, this is satisfying. I think I used 7 different paints. I'm going to go find the picture I took of all the paints I used for this and show you. Put it right here in the video. YRIEL yellow. If you have the luxury of having so many paints, good for you. If you don't, that's okay too. You can just add white to oranges to mellow them out and get the same effect. I just happen to have a bunch of CITADEL paints because I got them on a deal. So the YRIEL yellow, see again? It's lava. It's not science. PHALANX yellow. Now I'm not going in anymore. Maybe just a dot here and there. Stay close to the edge because you want to keep those nice oranges. You don't want to paint yellow everywhere. On the edge here too, yellow, yellow, yellow. Gonna hit it a couple more times with a couple more yellers. A little dot, dot here, dot there, dot, dot, dot. Calm down, dot. Don't go too much, Mike. Come on. There we go, dot, dot, dot. And I think we have some DORN yellow coming. And yes, DORN, I'm not going to go in anymore. I'm just staying on the outside because that's like where it's super hot near the lake that Zariel's floating on. And then CERAMITE white right in the center of that yellow is bright white. And this video, oh yeah, some tufts, some scorched tufts in there too from Army Painter. Great. And that's the wrap of the base. Here's Zariel in her fine form. Here are a couple pictures of her in her beauty. A couple close-ups of her face. I did hit her and I didn't catch it in this video, but that DEEPKIN flesh I hit with the NULN oil to make it darker. And the back of her head I hit with a Casandoro yellow as well, because I figured that fiery wreath is going to be sending some light on it. I didn't go crazy with the object source lighting because I don't know, glue her arm on there. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Forrest Gump. Look at these movie references tonight. If you have any questions or want me to explain something further, by all means send me an email or put a comment below and I'll respond to you. But I think that's a pretty cool basing with lava. Well, let me know what you thought. Anyways, guys, thank you very much. I hope everyone in your family is safe and you are as well. Remember, wash your hands. This is GMA Tank signing off. Ciao, ciao.